What is really hood, guys? Got another hot one coming in here from Mega Matt. Mega Matt asks, what games do you think are only just worth a playthrough? Which I give that score to a ton of games. Well, Mega Matt, we'll get into that in just a second. But I want to tell you guys that I got a lot of really cool responses yesterday from the bosses. Very cool. Even had some people hit me up personally. I know Captain Algebra hit me up and told me about the last boss on Poltergeist on Genesis. Yeah, that's a rough one. It's a weird fight. And by the way, great stream by Captain frickin' Algebra last night. Went for like 6, almost 7 freaking hours. He beat Fester's Quest, and man, holy shit, what an awesome stream. I worked out hard, and I happened to work out like almost the whole time when I got home, Captain, so it was probably for about an hour or two. You know, I just kind of do a set, stop, do a set, stop. Let me tell you, dude, talk about sleeping in. Holy shit, dude, I must have tired my body out like hardcore. I didn't even like really realize it. But it was good for me. It was good for me. But I didn't get shit done at home this morning because I woke up late. I was like, holy crap, dude, it's already like 11. Holy shit. So, couldn't do shit, man. So I got to do it all tonight or something. But anyway, awesome stream, dudes. Woo! That's YouTube in its prime right there. I mean, yeah, it don't get no better than that. It don't get no better than that. Yeah, he was freaking grinding. That's the way that I like to play video games and what I like to watch. That right there. That was awesome. But, by the way, Fester's Quest, you need passwords, bruh. Come on, Sunsoft. What are you doing? Jeez. Anyway, back to the subject here. Games that are only worth a playthrough. Honestly, games like that, like Fester's Quest, there's a lot of them, Matt. I was only into playing through God of Wars once. See, when you have a backlog like I do, there was an interesting comment the other day in my video about not having a big collection because it makes you not spend time a lot with certain games because you're trying to move on to the next. That is sort of kind of how I am, so, and I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. You don't need to spend a ton of time with every game. Sometimes you get the gist of the game and it gets boring. Some games are too long for their own right. Like they should finish it up. Like when I played Moonwalker. Moonwalker is worth a playthrough. You know, it's fun the first time and you're having a good time. But by the end of the game, you're ready for it to finish up. It's kind of just repeating itself every level and you're trying to finish it up, you know? The games with good replay value, I guess they just got to be really fun. Usually Quest games, call me crazy, but see, something like me, like the Metroids, Super Metroid and stuff, it's just worth one playthrough for me, man. I don't like running through games like that because I already know where everything's at. I already know what boss is coming up. It's all about that first time you play and you're going, holy crap, what is this? You know, or I found this, yes, you know. One of my best discoveries ever was Super Metroid. I'll never forget it. When I did not know where to go. And then I blew up that tube of glass, and that's how you access the next area, and I figured it out, dude. Oh my gosh. That was an epic moment. I wasn't recording. I was playing offline, because games like that I usually play offline. But, man, boy, was that fun. But a lot of those PS2 games, games like Run Like Hell, you know, The Suffering 2, even Max Payne 2, those types of games to me are just one and dones. You know, you already know what's going to happen. You're into the story. Kingdom Hearts, one time, you know. Maybe you go back to it in years and years and years, you know, like seriously 15, 20 years later you play it. But we don't have that much time. You know what I mean? And I got so many other games to play that you want to be able to say, hey, I experienced that. You know, I don't like the thing of missing out on good games, you know? So I don't like to spend too much time with one game that really doesn't need my attention, you know? But I'd say the more replayable games, because we can cover that while we're here, more replayable games are games that are, for one, quick. So Contra and Super C, stuff like that takes 20 minutes, right? You know, you don't need you wouldn't want to one and done those, I don't think, because they're so fun. Punch-Out's always fun to run through, you know what I mean? A lot of those old NES games, because they're a lot shorter, they're a lot compact. Back to the Future, that's a fun one to just turn on and just run through it, and it's fun because it still challenges you. Battletoads, that's a fun one to run through. Once you know the game. I used to thinking about Ghosts and Goblins, Ninja Gaiden. Those are games I like to keep in the rotation all the time, dude. I'm always playing those. They're on my play choice. A lot of them are. Marios are always fun to just play through, replayable ones. But you have your games like Star Tropics that you play it once and I'm done. Blaster Master. Play through it once, I'm done. You know, those longer games, and it's not that long, but it's long the first time you play it, you know. The quest games. Quest games, to me, Symphony of the Night, I don't find myself replaying that very much, you know. But the old Castlevanias, where it's more action-based, then I want to play it. Like, action-based, like I could turn on the first Castlevania, run through it. Third Castlevania, run through it. Fourth Castlevania, Super Castlevania, definitely can run through that fucker. I love that game. But Symphony of the Night, that takes multiple seedings to finish usually, unless you go for a huge marathon or something. If it's something I have to work through a lot, then it's probably one and done. I enjoy it when I'm there. Tears of the Kingdom, we'll start going modern here. Tears of the Kingdom, one and done, you know. Even something like Mario Odyssey is a one and done to me, even though that's a little bit more replayable, but it is because you already know where all the moons are at, and you know what they do, and you know what they unlock, so why do I need to play it again? It's all about what's it going to do the first time you're going to play. What you gonna do? I thought of Hulk Hogan. I had to do it. But anyway, yeah, so it's a lot of those games. Games that are longer, most of the time for me, Fallout 4 are going to be one and done. You know, because with a lot of things with me is the time. The time. Do I want to give my time to run through that again when I already know what's going to happen? And 99 times out of 100, it's going to be no. I want to move on to something else, you know? You know, so there's a lot of replayable games, but they're short. You know, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 1 and 2. I could play through those again just because they're fun. You know, it's a lot of action. Smash TV, you could play through that again. You know, those are just fun games, especially co-op. Total Carnage, that's a fun game to run through. These are games that, when they're on my shelf, I pick them up and I replay them. Super Punch-Out, definitely. To play all the way through a Road Rash, okay, those games. To play all the way through it, all 5 levels, one and done. One and done, because because also it's so hard that it's not even that fun. It's more of like, you want to beat it for the achievement's sake, but it's not really that fun when it gets to that point. It gets really annoying, you know? Road Rash 3D and stuff, I wouldn't want to play through the whole game. I would just turn and play it on, or turn it on and play it real quick. So, yeah, those are the types of things I would say. Anything that's a really long game or has hidden stuff, and it's a quest game, Faxanadu and would be not a replayable game. You play through it once, and that's kind of it, you know. Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, I played through it the one time and I had fun with it. Probably won't do it again. You know, Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past. See, those are games I don't really like to replay. Some people love to, and that's awesome. They speed run them, they do all this shit. That's just not me, though. I don't really run through longer quest games like that. I get through the quest, and then I'm done. You know, Mario RPG, that's having a replay, a remake here. I played through it once, and that's it, though. You know, will I play the remake? Probably, because I want to check that out. You know, I'm not a big fan of remakes, but for that one, I might fuck around with that. Replayable games would be like Super Mario 3D World. I replayed through that with Nathan. That was a lot of fun. But would I replay through Bowser's Fury again? Probably not. You know, it's just not that fun. It was okay. You know, play through Rampage sometimes on the NES. Would I replay that? Yeah. I'd play through Rampage real quick. Something you can get done in a night is a lot more replayable. And I know you can get through Super Metroid in one night, but you have to really know the game. If I turned it on again right now, I wouldn't remember where a lot of that shit is, you know? So yeah, those quest games where you got to figure out where stuff's at. Could I play through Dracula X or Rondo of Blood in one night? Absolutely. Those are replayable. And plus, those are more action-based. I'm going to have fun just reacting and beating things and fighting bosses. And that's what I like to do when I play games. I'm not always a Metroidvania or just a quest type of player where I always want to go on this big quest. I have to be in the mood for that. There's even certain sports games that are one and done. You know, you play through the sport or the season and you're done. I had like NFL Quarterback Club. Would I turn that game on and play through another season of it? No, I wouldn't. But would I play through another season of Madden 94? Yeah, I have a lot of times. Ken Griffey, would I play through another season? Yes, because it's so much fun. So I guess for me, sitting here talking about it, because I do it all off the top of my head, that it's all games that are, for one, they have to be super fun. Super fun. I'm just having a blast playing them. And two, they have to be kind of shorter, something I can get done quick. Because when I have, you know, a little bit of time before work or after work or something like that, I like to play through something that I can get done. Or if I have a night to stream, I'd like to play through something like Life Force that I can get done in a night, or Gradius or something like that. I just played through Gradius the other day on the Nintendo Switch Online, you know. So, that's more of the stuff for me. Games that are going to take multiple sittings, if I've already beaten it, it's really hard for me to go back. I did go back to The Punisher on PS2, and I replayed that because it's the fun of it achieved what I needed to achieve. You know, it's so fun that I wanted to do it again, you know, because that's a highly combative and action-based game as The Punisher. So it's one of my favorite games on the PS2. So I could replay that again. Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. I could replay any of those. Beat 'em ups are extremely replayable. Because you can get through them in one run, and you can pick it up and play it, and it's fun. It doesn't take multiple sittings. So, yeah, quest games most of the time is a non-replayable thing. Journey to Silius on the NES. That's replayable. That's a really fun game to turn on once in a while. I even like turning on games like Double Dare and Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud sometimes on the NES, and I'll replay those. But not replayable games. I'm trying to think of more quest-based stuff. You know, what's that game with all the Quantum Kabuki Fighter? That's a left-to-right game, but I was one and done with that. Not into it. But games like Jackal I replay. I would love to replay and play that again. Playing through a season of Blades of Steel, I'd love to replay that again. Non-replayable. To where I'm just... Most of the time when I say that, I'll say it's worth a playthrough. Wayne's World on the Super Nintendo. Worth one play. It's not that bad of a game, and it's worth... If you're a fan of the movie, you play through it the one time, and that's it. trying to think of more games I played. Demolition Man. That I felt like was a one and done for me. I didn't have that much fun with it. I wasn't very good at it, but it was a one and done. The Shinobi games are replayable. They're really fun. Those are really fun games, fun to master. Non-replayable would be when you've beaten something like Kid Chameleon. It's a longer game, and I would say that's more of an achievement. I don't always want to replay it, I find myself. I thought I was going to, but it's a game that I don't always go back to. Like, I don't look at my shelf and want to pick that. I like the game, though, but it doesn't really get to that I want to play it all the time mode, you know? It's more of a difficulty than it was fun, you know? What else? I mean, all the Contra games are replayable. Alien Wars, Operation C, Contra Hardcore, fucking, you know, even Shattered Soldier and Neo Contra at this point, you could replay those. Contra Adventure and Contra Legacy of War, only one playthrough, if they're even worth that. If they're even worth that. Legacy of War, I would argue, is not even worth a playthrough. I'll probably beat it because I'm a Contra fan, and that's the only reason why. I will grind through it. But Contra Adventure, I beat that one and done. Yeah, I'll never go back to it because it's not very good, you know? So, there's a lot of games that are not to go back to, but it's mostly the long ones, especially when we're talking modern. I don't really have time to make for modern games that take hundreds of hours to play. If I play through Elden Ring, okay, when I get to that, I will play through Elden Ring, but I will only play it once. I guarantee you that. Grand Theft Auto, only once, man. All those Grand Theft Autos, only one time. They're great games, but only once. It's just they take too long, man. They take a lot out of your gaming when you could be playing other games, you know? And I got a lot of games on my shelf that I need to play, you know? And I want to continue down that path because the more good games you find, the better. You know, you can find a lot of good games. So, yeah, you only have so much time. Got to get moving. You know, I don't like to spend too much time with one game. But I'll pay every game its respects, you know. D-Force, do I need to go back to something like that? Probably not, you know. If you really want to challenge yourself and memorize the whole game, then go ahead. But is it worth it? Are you kind of wasting your time? Probably, you know, probably. Is it important for you in your gaming journey to say, hey, I need to beat D-Force? No, probably not. You know, could I? Yeah, I could beat it, but is it worth the grind like I was like Star Wars Famicom? See, now Star Wars Famicom, and the answer is no to that, by the way. Star Wars Famicom is a great game. Could I replay that sometime? Probably. I'm leaning towards no now because it took a lot of learning. Here's another thing. When you don't play a game for a long time, you forget. Okay? And so if you have to relearn a game, gosh, you're almost having to go through it again. And if you love the game, awesome. But when I'm trying to play other games and I got to move on to other stuff, I don't want to go back and spend another week and grind the way I had to grind that game out. It probably wouldn't take a lot to regrind that, don't get me wrong, because I would notice some of the things like, oh, I remember this. And so I would get through it quickly. But enough, though, you know, 2 or 3 sittings, you know, where I could be playing something else, you know. So that's just how I like to do things. Maybe some people, I see people go back and play Link to the Past and Ocarina and shit all the fucking time. Mario 64 was a one and done for me. Didn't really like the game too much, to be honest with you. You know, those are just one and dones, you know. They take a while, you know. So, hopefully those are some examples. Those are all off the top of my head as I'm just thinking of my collection. There's so much more. Dragon's Lair for the NES. I don't know if you want to put yourself through that, but one and done. Once you've beaten that game, you'll never touch it again. That game will kick your ass, man. You want a hard fucking NES game? Don't look anything up and be a cheater. Fucking grind through the game, Dragon's Lair NES, dude. Oh, man. That game's just a bitch. It is. Try to fucking no-def that. That'd be hard. I don't even want to put myself through that. Fuck that game. I gotta kind of like the game, dude. That game sucks. It's got awesome graphics for an NES game, but boy, oh boy, is it bad. But anyways, I'm out at work, guys. I'll talk to you. Hopefully you're having a good day. God bless you. And keep coming in with the comment ideas for videos. We'll keep grinding. Let's keep going. The more ideas, the better.